يا أمة الإسلام بشرى لن يطول بك الهوان قد لاح فجرك باسما فلترقبي ذاك الزمان.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you are enjoying this series, please share this video to someone whose life may change as a result of it. You don't know what people are going through. This will be a reward for you, because if their life does change and they become closer to Allah as a result, then you will also get a share in that reward. So please like, leave a comment, and share and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to my channel. Today's story is about a brother that I went to Bosnia with in 1995, so nearly 30 years ago. There was a group of brothers from the UK who went to Bosnia at that time, and he was one of them. I didn't physically go with him over there, but I met him over there, and I knew him beforehand. So he was a brother, his name was Sayyad, and Sayyad, not his real name, but his like a nickname, alias, and he was a British Palestinian. So he went to Bosnia, and towards the end of the war he was killed there. May Allah have mercy upon him and accept him. Now, I was in London when I got the news. Straight away I rang his mum, and she had also got a phone call from Bosnia, and they had told her that your son has been killed. So I rang his mum to give her condolences, and then I asked her, have you seen any dreams? Any significant dreams? So she told me, she said 2 days before, in other words 2 days before he was killed, she got the news that he'd been killed. She saw a dream where there's a beautiful palace, and she's looking at this beautiful palace and admiring it. Then someone comes and says to her, this palace belongs to you. This is your palace, and you began building it 20 years ago, and today you have completed it. And then the next day, or a couple of days later, she received a phone call that her son had been killed 2 days before his 19th birthday. And if you translate the solar months into lunar months, it becomes 20 years. What a beautiful dream. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was showing his mum, and his mum, she had a hard life. She was a single parent. She struggled to make ends meet. She supported her son going to Bosnia. He spent several months working as a security guard to save money in order to go to Bosnia, and he was killed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed her a dream that palace for you in Jannah, in paradise, that was your son. So for 20 years, when you were working on your son and feeding him the best foods and taking him to the best nursery and the best schools and helping him with his schoolwork and taking him to activities, while you were building him and putting all those finishing touches into your son, you were actually building a house for yourself in paradise. And today that house is now complete. And 2 days later he was killed. The first reflection from this story, number one, it takes time to build people. People are the most worthy asset of any society, of any country. People are more valuable than money, they're more valuable than infrastructure, they're more valuable than materials. Once there was a scholar, Hassan al-Banna, and he was an activist in Egypt in the 1930s and the 1940s, and he hardly wrote any books. There's maybe 1 or 2 books that he wrote, but so once his students, they came up to him and they said, why don't you write books? Because other organizations and other scholars and other activists, they've written plenty of books, but you know, you've just written like maybe 1 short book you've written. Why is that? And he replied, I don't write books, I write people. And he was an activist who did a lot of good work in Egypt at that time. Developing another human being, it takes time. It takes a lot of time. And it's something which we should take seriously. If there is a child in our lives, either it could be our own child, or you could be a teacher, you could be an imam, you could be someone who deals with children in some sort of setting. Every single second of that child's life, you are making a deposit into its memory. You are helping to build and to form that child. Every small interaction that you have. Let me ask you a question. Go back to your childhood, whatever it was, and nobody has a perfect childhood, so we're not talking about perfect childhoods. Go back to your childhood and think of one person who showed you love and kindness as a child, outside your family. Outside your family, think of one person who, as in outside your immediate family, think of one person who showed you kindness as a child. I'll give you a moment to think about that. It could be an uncle, it could be a relative, it could be a teacher. What sort of things would they do? How did they treat you? How did they interact with you? You can be that person to a child. You don't know what's happening in that child's life. If you're a teacher, if you're even if you're not part of that child's immediate family, you don't know what that child is going through. Show kindness and gentleness and softness to children, especially when it comes to deen and matters of the religion. Teach the deen with gentleness. Let children know that the deen is something which is fun and which is something light. We've made the deen something which is so hard and harsh and miserable. I remember going to madrasa as a child. I was like 5 years old. I went to in this big hall to recite the Quran, and the children were just talking, and the imam, he put us all in a line, and each of us got one big hard slap on the back. And to this day, I don't know what I did wrong, but I do know that I used to hate going there. And alhamdulillah, my mom, she pulled me out of there. So to develop a human being, it takes a lot of time and effort and resources. Study these resources. Equip yourself. Learn about these things. Learn about parenting. Learn about child psychology. Learn about childhood trauma. Learn about the effect that words and actions and what the children see, what children they see in their early life, how that affects them for the rest of their lives. Learn about these things. The ultimate success, but remember that the ultimate success of children is that they grow up to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they die upon Islam and they die upon Iman. If you have managed to do that with your children, that they die upon Islam, then that is something you can say that your parenting has been a success. The second reflection from this story is the importance of having good character. You know, sometimes people, they'll talk about a building and they'll say, you know, I like that house, or I like that building, it has character. What gives the building its character? It's the small touches. It's the small things. It's not the big things. It's the small finishing, the small little designs, the things in the corners, the things that you don't see straight away, but when you look at it, then you see how special this building is, that it has character. In the same way, human beings, the normal things everyone does. Any practicing Muslim, he prays, he recites Quran, he fasts. That's no big deal. People, you know, they have interactions, they buy, they sell, they earn, they raise children. But it's the small things that define your character. What makes a person beautiful is their character. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He loves good character. And there's a saying which it says that people with a beautiful character, they are always beautiful. And people with an ugly character are always ugly, no matter what their face looks like. How do you learn character? Character is not learned from books. You don't learn character from books, and definitely not from YouTube. You learn character by living with and being around and accompanying people who have character. You have a problem with generosity, spend your time amongst generous people, you will become generous. You have a problem with humility, spend your time amongst humble people, and you will see what humility is. Whatever it is that you want in your life, any particular character trait, spend time with the people who have it, and you will get it. So character is not learnt from books. And you see that difference between someone who studied Islam, or they've studied Islamic knowledge from YouTube or online or reading books or watching videos, and someone who has actually spent time with people of character or people of knowledge, and you see the difference in their character. Maybe both of them know the hadith, or both of them have the reference, but one has good character and the other one doesn't have it. It is the internal things that reflect your character, not the external things. And it is a sad fact that some of the people with the worst character are the religious people, the people of knowledge, the imams, the sheikhs, the scholars, the maulanas, the maulwis, the preachers, the cleric. They have the worst character. They are foul-mouthed, they backstab people, they swear, they do all of these things. They hurt people, they humiliate people. There was one sheikh in Pakistan, I'm not going to mention his name, may Allah forgive him and have mercy upon him. He was a very big, well-known scholar. I think he wrote over 40 books. And once someone I know went to pray in his masjid in Pakistan. And at the start of the prayer, he turned around and he said, it's funny but it's sad. I'll say in Urdu, then I'll translate. He goes, "Ye jitne bhi aloo hain, wo sab piche ho jaye." And with that, he like gave a dismissive gesture with his hand. All potatoes, get to the back. Who are the potatoes? The clean-shaven people, the people that haven't got beards. What a nasty, humiliating, horrible thing to say. May Allah forgive him and have mercy upon him, because he's died and passed away. I'm not attacking him as a person. May Allah forgive him. It's the concept that I'm attacking. Someone has come to the house of Allah. Maybe that person, that potato, the one you're calling a potato, who shaved his beard, who doesn't have a beard, maybe he was going through a hard time. And for years he was thinking that I'm going to come back to Allah, I'm going to come back to Allah. And he was a sinner, and he thought that, you know, there's no way Allah will forgive me. And he plucked up the courage to come to the mosque for the first time in 20 years. He came and he's standing in the front line for the imam to say, "Get to the back, you scum, you potato, like get to the back." And maybe he left like the deen because of that, or maybe he saw this is a sign that Allah doesn't want, accept me or whatever. What a horrible thing to say. Why is it that the people of knowledge and the people of scholars, why do they have this rude, harsh, condescending, humiliating manner with the people, with the ordinary people? Why? It's not from our deen, it's not from the religion, it's not from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Can you imagine the Prophet ﷺ saying, "Any potatoes, get to the back"? Can you imagine him saying something like that? Can you imagine him humiliating someone who asked a question? Someone asks a question in a circle or a gathering, and you say, tell to everyone, what a stupid question this person has asked. Or why have you asked a stupid question like this? What a humiliating manner. That is not, and it's a sad fact that many of these people that claim to be religious, they have the worst character. It's the small things. Talking of scholars, I once was in Saudi Arabia and I went to visit a very well-respected scholar at his house, and we prayed Jum'ah in the masjid which was next to his house. So we came to his house and knocked on the door, and he was at the door. He opened the gate, and in his hands were two like sandals, like slippers, like bathroom slippers. He's holding them, and he said to me and my friend that you guys go in and sit down. I'm just taking these shoes because one of our colleagues who prayed with us, his shoes are lost. Someone took his shoes by mistake, so I'm just going to give him this pair of shoes. And he went there and he gave those shoes with his own hands, and he came back. And this is a very, very, very well-respected scholar. He didn't have that arrogance. He didn't have this, oh, I'm like this person or whatever. He went, and I remember that. And this is something that took place nearly 30 years ago. But I still remember that one interaction. I can't tell you his lectures or things that he has said. I don't remember that. but I remember this action. And this is what people, they remember about you. They remember your character, and they remember the way that you interacted with them and the way that you make them feel. And this Maya Angelou, this American author, and one of her famous quotes, she says, at the end of the day, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never ever forget the way that you made them feel. So in the same way, good character is what lasts, good character is what endures, and good character is what stays with you into the hereafter. And the third lesson from this dream is sacrifice. This was a single mum who had had a hard life and was bringing up 3 teenage children. And she was struggling, but she still supported her son in going to Bosnia. A caveat here, we're talking about the 1990s, where it was legal for people, especially Muslim, or it was legal for someone to go and fight in a war in another country at that time. Now in 2025 in the UK, that's not legal, so don't go and pick up arms and don't go and fight in Gaza or Syria or whatever. If you're going to do that, then know that there's serious legal and physical and health consequences. You could get killed, you could get injured, you could get paralyzed, you could lose your eyesight, you could end up in prison, whatever. So if you know the consequences, go. But a lot of people get involved in these things and they don't know the consequences. So I just needed to mention that. But by my point is that at that time, the sacrifices that this mother made, she still supported her son because she knew that he's going to protect a people from genocide, from a people that are suffering, and she supported her son in doing that. May Allah forgive him and have mercy upon him. So this was today's dream. If you're enjoying these videos, please share them on your social media channels, on WhatsApp. Just that one click that you share it with in your WhatsApp groups, and someone watches it, it could change their life, and that would be your Ramadan deed for today. Till the next video, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
يا أمة الإسلام بشرى لن يطول بك الهوان قد لاح فجرك باسما فلترقبي ذاك الزمان. يا أمة الإسلام بشرى لن يطول بك الهوان قد لاح فجرك باسما فلترقبي ذاك